Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, we're going to be looking at the very best decks in the expanded format at the moment. And the reason is very simple. Dallas Regionals is coming up quite soon. I will be at Dallas Regionals. I'm very excited about this. Dallas Regionals is going to be an expanded format tournament, so if I didn't do a video about the best decks in expanded, well, at this stage, that would be just a little bit silly. Now, I have been looking at the results of tournaments. These are results, not speculation, and I am only counting tournaments since the rotation happened in September. Of course, it's not always easy to do a list like this because some decks have been really good but fallen off, and other decks have been good lately but weren't before or weren't legal before. So I've done my best, but as always, if you want to argue, pop your own list in the comments. I'd be delighted to see it. In at number 5, we've got Gardevoir. And Gardevoir is one of those brilliant cards where unless the format is just full of metal Pokemon, which to be fair it could be soon, is just always going to be good. The ability allows you to attach extra energy, and then you just do 30 damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon, yours and your opponent's, which means it builds up very quickly. You've got a great GX attack, which can just hoover all of your cards back into your deck, which is great, not to mention the fact you get access to Gallade, whose Premonition ability works brilliantly with Octillery to give you great draw power, because Gallade you rearrange the top 5 cards of your deck, Octillery you draw until you got 5 cards in your hand. So if you can only draw 1 with Octillery, you can use Gallade to get the best card and put it into your hand with Octillery. And then, of course, you've got a really good fighting type attacker to take down Zoroark, who is all over the expanded format at the moment, and you have got the makings of one very good deck. There is an argument here that it's maybe not that great at standing up to Night March decks, which really can get one-hit KOs, while also not being 2-prize Pokemon. But then again, with 230 HP, it's really difficult to get a one-hit KO on Gardevoir using Night March, and then they can use Max Potion to just go and heal up. Lot of potential here. In terms of results, it got 5th at Daytona Beach, 7th in Fort Wayne, and got every spot from 6th to 19th in San Jose. Coming in at number 4, we got a weird deck, which really was... It only did well at one tournament, but it got 3 of the top 4 spots, including winning, so I don't know exactly where to put it, but I'm calling it Dimension Valley Deck. It revolves around Garbodor, who ironically does not use Dimension Valley, but does use Trashalanche, an amazing attack for a single energy that does 20 damage for each item in your discard pile, or I should say your opponent's discard pile, and you've then got a whole bunch of Pokemon like Mimikyu and the Copycat attack, single energy with Dimension Valley in play, and of course Necrozma, which for a double colourless energy with a Dimension Valley in play does 100 damage to all of your opponent's EXs and GXs. This deck has a huge amount of options, which is one of the reasons it's so good, and it's a whole bunch of single energy attachment Pokemon, so the setup here really is very, very minimal. This deck is going to get a lot better in the future when the promo Tapu Lele comes out. Magical Swap for a single energy with a Dimension Valley in play allows you to rearrange all the damage counters on your opponent's side of the field. And when you realise that you've got Necrozma's Black Ray GX, and then you've got other things like Mimikyu and Garbodor, you don't need to take one-hit KOs. You just do a bunch of damage, and then up comes Tapu Lele to rearrange all that damage and smash. It's going to be awesome. But like I said, in terms of results, we saw that it won Daytona Beach. It crushed Daytona Beach. It was all over the top cut, and then that was it. It hasn't done anything since then. But I think the new Tapu Lele might change it. In at number 3, my personal favourite deck in Expanded, at least until the new Empoleon comes out, it's Volcanion Turtonator. I adore this deck. The reason it's so much better in Expanded is because you have access to the rather ridiculous Blacksmith supporter, which allows you to attach 2 fire energy from your discard to one of your fire Pokemon, and that means that you can get your Pokemon going so much more quickly. You use things like Shaman and Scorched Earth to draw cards without playing a supporter, so that you can just use Blacksmith every turn and have all of that energy ready to go. And these decks really will play kind of 12 to 15 energy. It's a little bit ridiculous. You can also then play Max Elixir just to go over the top nuts with attaching your energy. It's a big, bulky, powerful deck, but the problem is it's all EX and GX attackers. A deck like Night March can have its way with this because you don't have the huge HP here that you have with Gardevoir. What you do have is Turtonator's Shell Trap, which basically means that every turn that Night March has a Guzma or a Pokemon Ranger, it's really sad, because they can get around Shell Trap, and every turn they don't, you take a KO when they attack. If they've constantly got a Guzma, you lose. If they don't, you win. That's what stops it from being a really amazing deck in Expanded, just the fact that you are kind of susceptible to Night March, which is pretty good. It did, however, get second in Fort Wayne, and it won and came third in Bilbao, so you know what? It's had success. It is a good deck. In at number 2, we've got Zoroark Lycanroc. Now, this is a weird kind of deck because it's only been legal, really, for one expanded tournament, San Jose, but it came second and saw a lot of success. You've got Zoroark, which is an amazing Pokemon with a trade ability, discard a card from your hand and draw 2, plus a decent attack, which becomes a phenomenal attack in Expanded with Skyfield. Let me explain. You see, you do 20 damage for each Pokemon you've got in play, which means you generally do 120. That's pretty cool. Oh no, wait, because with Skyfield you can have 9 Pokemon in play, which means you do 180, 210 with a choice band, and that is absolutely phenomenal. That's why it's so good. While you're filling up your bench, you might as well play Lycanroc to counter opposing Zoroark, and because the ability is just a Lysander, meaning you get extra access to Lysander. It is a phenomenal deck. We don't know quite how good it's going to be because we've only had one tournament where it's legal, but you cannot deny that there is a huge amount of potential here. And that, more than anything, is where it comes in at number 2. It was really good in the only tournament we've had it. I think it could be even better in the future. But number 1, you've probably guessed it. You probably guessed it when you saw the video. It's just Night March. Sorry. It's just so good. And it will remain this good, probably until the expanded format rotates. It's just phenomenal. Night March as an attack allows you to do 20 damage for each Pokemon with Night March you've got in the discard. Joltik does it for a double colourless, so does Pumpkaboo, just so long as you've got a Dimension Valley in play. Then, of course, you're hitting for 2 different weaknesses. Oh no, wait! Because you've got Marshadow as well, who now helps you hit for a fighting weakness, and this is why Zoroark can't be the number 1 deck at the moment. Because Marshadow can crush it in Expanded. And Marshadow can actually do more damage than Joltik or Pumpkaboo, because if you're playing Joltik or Pumpkaboo, you've got to have a Night Marcher with which to attack, so there's at least one that you can't have in the discard. Whereas with Marshadow, you can put all your Night Marches in the discard, and you can actually be doing a lot more damage. It's really good. Night March is the best deck in Expanded. I'm sorry. It's got 1-hit KO potential. It generally evolves around single prize Pokemon, which gives it a great advantage in the prize race. It only needs to play 4 double colorless energy, giving it a whole bunch of room that they can use to play other stuff. It's super fast, it's super consistent, and when you can be taking 2 prize knockouts with a 1 prize Pokemon and hitting 3 different weaknesses, yeah, that's how a deck becomes the best deck in a particular format and doesn't ever go away. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to hear from you guys. Give me your own top 5 list in the comments. I'd love to read it. Go nuts! be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, you can do so by going to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Oh, and also go check out my video game channel, Wassy Plays, where I upload other games and it's lots of fun. But look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.